Hey YouTube, we have a stat product problem here. I was just about to do top teams for this, and we already knew this was gonna be Shuckle and Bronzer, and I just had showcased. Well, you're gonna be seeing it in a couple days here. I just filmed this video, Wobbuffet, Purloin, and Bronzer, and then I was also at the same time looking, and JJN on Twitter, who's the one who won the Toronto Regional, beat me out in the Winter Finals A, Shuckle, Vulpix, and Bronzer. And we have a stat product problem because Shuckle and Bronzer are just so far above everything else in terms of stat product that with okay moves, which they both have, it makes them very, very, very difficult to go against. So it's and there's a couple that kind of core break. I'm going to talk about one that I'm using on a team that you'll see, I don't know when, eventually. But Shuckle's stat product has an insane, again, the attack is garbage, but a 345 defense for 780 overall just makes anything you throw at this it does nothing. Super effective moves do nothing. So you have 345 defense, 780 overall, and with Bronzer, same thing. You have a nice balance here, 134, 130, but a 657 overall. And the problem is once you get those top two, it drops by a couple hundred for a minimum for everything else. So Purloin is very, very glassy, 359. It's ranked super high because Sucker Punch got boosted, and Night Slash is a very quick move to get to, and it has coverage for Bronzer. Zigzagoon, even as an XL, is only 459 overall. Mandibuzz is a very tanky Pokemon, 466. Barboche, 387, and then again, we're just going to go down this list here, and it's not going to be any close, 431. Diggersby is my core breaker, and it is only a 445. See, so you got the close loss to Shuckle at 476, and then you beat Bronzer. This is my core breaker that I've been using, and it's been working pretty well. However, when you have two Pokemon with such a discrepancy in stat product for a cup that is so reliant on either your insane moveset or your stat product, it puts it at a big advantage. I'm even going to take out, if you watch these videos for a while, I always go over three things: stat product, moveset, and typing. And I said these three balance everything out. Unfortunately, in the little Galar Cup, the typing is almost irrelevant to a certain extent, because in this meta, anything, ignoring Shuckle and Bronzer for a second, any of these sort of four and below Pokemon, any neutral move does 50%. So typings don't matter as much. Again, you can argue super effects with one shot here that makes it, typings do matter, obviously, but in the grand scheme of things, typings don't matter that much because all these Pokemon, as you can see here in the terms of the move sets, are very quick and are just spamming stuff that does 50% of your health. So Sucker Punch, 2-turn fast move, only 5 to get to a Night Slash. Mandibuzz, obviously Snarl, 4 to 8 Aerial Ace and Dark Pulse. Mudshot Barboche, 5 to an Aqua Tail Mud Bomb. Scroopy, 2 point second 2-turn move, 4 to an Aqua Tail and Cross Poison. So everything is just a lot of these Pokemon that are top ranked are just very spammy, and everything does 50%. So the typing doesn't matter as much. But what really matters is the stat product. And so when all these 4 below Pokemon are throwing moves at each other doing 50%, and you throw a move at the Shuckle or Bronzer, and it does, on Bronzer, maybe depending on the move, if it's a neutral move, 15%, and on a Shuckle it does 5%, it just makes this meta very not fun to play. Because there's only 2 ways to play. And like I said, so JJN just went double the number 1, number 2 ranked, and then Vulpix, Vulpix has always been a top. It's not even ranked up top here, but Vulpix has always been sort of a top meta. It's going to get killed by Shuckle, but it will beat Bronzer, especially if you're running Ember. So it's always been one of the top meta. And then same thing, I just showcased a team. They use Bronzer. Purloin is going to be, you'll see in this video that I'm going to talk about, Purloin is going to be a top meta because it absolutely dominates as a dark against Bronzer. And it can at least chip Shuckle and do decent elsewhere. And then I just used Like I tried to core break with Diggersby. I've used Purloin on one of my teams. I'm trying to find like core breakers, and it just comes down to the same thing. Like even if you're throwing super effective moves against these Pokemon, I use a Bronzer. I had a Bronzer and a Shuckle, which is a great matchup, and it's an easy win because you resist all Shuckle's move. Like they only have rock moves and you're Steel, so you're easily gonna win with Bronzer. But throwing a super effective heavy slam against a full health, like full built up Shuckle does like 15%. It's insane. So when you get like not super effective matchups, it just is like a tickle. And it just makes this league not fun. I cannot believe that they let two of the bulkiest Pokemon for the stat products that these have into this meta. It was not thought through. So what's the point of this besides just ranting? When you have this stat product that is so high, there's only two. I always say there's like 3 or 4 different ways to build a team. You can go meta, you can go counter meta, you can go counter meta, you can go like a balance. You can do like one of these and stuff like that. There's 2 ways you can play this meta, and there's only 2 ways you can play it. You use 1 or 2 of these Pokemon, Bronzer and Shuckle, and then choose your third, whatever third. Purloin is very, very strong, so you could just do Shuckle, Bronzer, Purloin, or something like that. Very strong team. Just super, super baseline meta. Or just like throw on a third Pokemon that has bulk too, right? Shuckle, Bronzer, and throw on like a Mandibuzz, or throw on one of these Pokemon. Or you just try and find the core breakers. Now, I already talked about how Purloin's one of the core breakers because you absolutely destroy Bronzer at 694. You do lose to Shuckle at 315, but it's just a generally super, super spammy Pokemon. I hate to give it away already, but I think I'll be playing Ultra League a lot this week anyways, but I'm using Diggersby. Diggersby has been a great core breaker. You beat Bronzer 681 and you only lose to Shuckle at 476, and you lose to Purloin at 444. So like basically beating Bronzer and then barely losing the other 2 is a pretty good scenario to be in. So that has worked very well. I also am using Drapion, which seems to lose to Shuckle a lot. Yeah, it loses to Shuckle a lot, but resisting the dark moves on the Purloin, and then being able to throw super effective crunches on the Bronzer has been working very well. So I think Drapion's gonna be a core breaker. So Diggersby, Drapion I've used. I've been trying. It's not working as well, but like I'm trying Dupe Biter. It's down at 90 with Bug Bite, because the Bug Bite will do well against the Dark Purloin there, and then like again, you're losing here. So you only have really 2 options. You go straight bulk top Pokemon meta, or you just try and find 3 Pokemon that beat it. And those are some suggestions that I suggested. Also, anything that's like a Mudshot user, like Barboche, that resists the rock and the super effective against the Bronzer, right? So there's your Bronzer, there's your Shuckle. So Barboche Shadow can beat both of those and Purloin. So there you go. Like I honestly, if I'm building a team right now, you either build these 2 plus a third, or you just build you literally just build 3 of the hardest answers you find. At this point, I would go something to the extent of Barboche, Diggersby, and then you're gonna be super weak to grass. So like maybe go with one of these poisons. Maybe these like poison that's like Drapion. That's like a poison, but also half dark, so you can like resist the grass, and have a crunch for the Bronzer and stuff like that. Like that's basically the only way that you can build the meta. So there's no point of putting out, like I put out like 6 or 7 teams this morning for the Ultra League using a bunch of new Pokemon. There's no point of putting out 6 or 7 teams. There's 2 teams. the super meta or the counter meta. That's all you can do in this meta, unfortunately. So with that, we are probably going to focus on Ultra League. I will have, like I've already done, I've got this one I just shot here. I do have a team that I used with Purloin. It was basically 2 of the 3 is the same. It was Bronzer, Purloin, And what was my third? I forget what was my third. I forget what my third was, but it was Bronzer Purloin plus a third. And then my second team is Diggersby, Drapion, and Jupiter. So that's my third team, or my second team, but the third Little Cup team that you will see over the upcoming days, because I've got two for mine, one that I just shot of the subscribers, and then I'll look at the Ultra League new buff Pokemon to see how they fare in the Ultra League to give you honest suggestions about that. But yeah, if you're going to be playing, just a heads up, that's kind of how this meta is going to be run. But if you want Ultra League options, go check out my video from this morning. We'll give you some ideas if you want to play that meta. So good luck, no matter what you're playing. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you're new, and I will see you guys in the next one.